What's up, everybody? This is Jimmy with Trading Decoded, and it is that time of week again where we do our baby account challenge update. I'm going to do it a little bit different this time in that a lot of people don't really care about why I made the plays that I made. So for those of you who are in that category, I'm basically just going to show you the account growth and the total profit or loss on the week. And then the later part of that video, or this video rather, I will go through the trades that I took and why for the people who have been asking for that as well. And with that, let's get started by launching my browser so I could show you the TD Ameritrade account. Okay, and as you can see, I have this set up to show the account for the week. We started by closing Friday out at $2,236 profit, and then we worked our way up. This Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I took a loss, and Friday we closed green. I believe on the week the account is up 64%. And then on the month, or since its inception, we're up over 8,000% at this point. Now, how we got there, that's where this part of the video is going to start. So for those of you who are here just to see the numbers, I guess you can leave now. And for those of you who want to see how we got to those numbers, stick around. We're going to launch TradingView. And this is the chart of Monday. So let's go ahead and see what we did. I'm going to preface this part of this video with something that I am noticing that I am doing and I need to correct because it is causing me stress and it's causing me to trade exactly how I didn't want to trade anymore. I have gotten to a point where because I am trying so hard to not fail at this challenge because it's being made public, I am finding myself being more impatient, I am over trading, and I am taking larger position sizes than I really need to. I'm breaking rules, and I acknowledge that I'm doing that. I'm just being honest. I don't like it, and I need to stop doing it because at some point it's going to cost me a good chunk of money, which is going to hurt me even more than following my rules. And at the end of the day, even though I'm taking more risk, I still make around the same amount per day on the account when I do follow my rules and take more calculated risks. So I'm proving to myself that it can be done with smaller position sizes and everything else. Yet here I did most of this week, short of Friday, I think, which I was really strict on rules. And a lot of that was because I was feeling the stress that I had been putting myself under, on top of the fact that I was getting busy at work, so I couldn't trade as much anyway. So let's start. So on Monday, we were trending down. As soon as we broke that trend, I decided to start looking at calls. And when we broke the lower high that had put in there, it acted somewhat as resistance. We broke through that resistance, and I decided to go ahead and get into a call at the break of that. It immediately started to go against me. I held on to it, and then we had this massive green candle. Well, now my exit for that would have been just below what got me into it. And so I let it retest, came back up, and then after, like I say in the past, when I see big green bars or red bars, and then I get these doji sideways moves, I'm not interested to see who's going to win this fight. So I went ahead, I took my profits on the two calls for $46. Now, after that break or sideways move, we broke to the upside, and I expected this move to continue. I bought 5 calls. Immediately, we started to trade sideways again. I held on to those calls simply because I am of the belief, and obviously it was wrong this time, if we start trading sideways, I find that more often than not, the move that got us there tends to continue. So in this case, we were moving up, we traded sideways, we kept moving up. So I thought if we moved up, we'd start trading sideways. I thought the next move would be up. It was not. And as soon as I realized that, I cut those 5 calls for a $90 loss. I also bought 10 puts before that drop, kind of as a hedge in case I was wrong on the calls. That worked out. Immediately it dropped. I sold half of that position for a $75 profit. I sold 3 more of them for a $30 profit when I saw it was going against me. And I sold the remaining 2 at a $6 loss. So that made up for this right here. So I was okay. But again, these position sizes on the size account that I'm using, unnecessary. And I realize that, but I'm here doing it anyway. So in a V-shaped recovery, big or small, I always use the previous lower highs as my entry in the reversal process. So when we got above that, I decided to buy a call, and we started to move up and hit resistance. After hitting it the 3rd time, I went ahead and sold out of that position and took a $26 profit there. And as you could see, that acted as resistance, and we bounced around this zone for quite a bit. But then we broke through it, and then it acted as support. So I went ahead and took a risk and bought 5 calls on a bounce off that support, held it, and then we started to chop slow. And instead of holding through all that, I just took 33 profit on 3 of them and $40 profit on 2 of them. And we moved forward, and I think we had one more trade on the day where I bought a call at the end of the day. Unnecessary. Don't know why I did it other than greed. And I had some powder left in the keg as far as buying power goes. So it wasn't an expensive call, if I remember correctly. Long and short of it is, I didn't want to risk anything. We were chopping sideways, and I just went ahead and took a $14 profit on that. So we closed out the day up $168 on Monday. Now, on to Tuesday. Tuesday was a short trading day for me. I bought a put here for no good reason. Fortunately, I only bought one, and I quickly cut it. I think what got me into it was the fact that we tried to move up again here, got pushed down, then we moved up a little bit, got pushed down, and then when we come, it closed up green, but nonetheless, I bought a put, hoping that the next one, hoping being the key word, ended up cutting it immediately for an $11 loss. The next 3 candles acted as support. We chop up a little bit, we come down, we retest that support. I went ahead after seeing the wicks on the bottoms of these 3 candles, indicating to me that there were some buyers here. So I bought in on this green candle, I rode it up, and fortunately, with that spike in volatility, I was able to sell those 10 calls for $169. That gave me a $158 profit on the day for Tuesday. Let's move on to Wednesday. Oh, we capped down. All right, so Wednesday, the first move of the day for me was basically getting out on a momentum move. I bought a single put 4 minutes into the day. And of course, as soon as I buy the put, we start to have a little bit of resistance in that downfall, but I held on to it. We moved back down. We found a pretty good resistance level here over the course of these 5 minutes of candles. I went ahead and bought 10 more puts at the 4th touch of that resistance, and we dropped, fortunately. We also put in a new resistance right here. So I went ahead and sold off 5 of the 10 puts for $55. I sold 3 of them for $78, and then I sold the remaining 2 for a $52 profit. And then I also sold the opening put for a $36 profit. it ended up being a nice trade, but I got to tell you, because of the size of the position I'm taking, I was feeling stress and anxiety and emotion and everything I'm trying not to do. Which is why I was scaling out so fast. I was taking my profits instead of letting the play. You know, if I was holding 2 puts here, I'd be a lot more inclined to let it continue to run until we had a clear indication that we were going the other way. I didn't give that time, and I left a lot of money on the table. I'm going to work on that next week. Well, as we come bouncing through here, we are bouncing off this support level over and over and over again, which at this time was 1, 2. I thought that this might have been just shy of the same support. So I bought a call here anticipating a similar move to continue. And ultimately it did. The only downside here was I could have got a better entry had I just been patient and let it come down to the support again. Anyway, I ended up selling that call for a $22 profit. And this is the resistance from earlier when we tried to move up after coming down briefly. And when we broke through it on the first candle, I went ahead and jumped into a call, hoping after this run up that we were going to break through the resistance instead of actually letting it try to, with a candle close above it. And lo and behold, it acted as a resistance again. I ended up selling very quickly that call because it failed for a $14 loss. We come back down, we bounce off the support again. I buy 5 calls, hoping that maybe it would get back up to the resistance level, which we weren't even close, but I was hoping we were going to get up there. And when we weren't getting there, I went ahead and sold 3 of the 5 calls that I bought for a $30 profit shortly thereafter. And when we started to drop again, I was trading on emotion simply because had I not been, I would have trusted that the support was going to continue to hold and maybe give it a chance to come back up. I didn't. I went ahead and sold the remaining 2 calls for a $16 loss. After I noticed it acted as support again, I went ahead and bought 2 calls again. Now, mind you, this is a Fed day where they were releasing the minutes, I believe. So I knew something crazy was going to come at 2 o'clock, and it did. So we went ahead and held those 2 calls to see what was going to happen. It comes up. We break through that resistance from earlier. I hoped that the move would continue, but when we came back down to retest that resistance, I sold and took a $62 profit on one of those 2 calls. Volatility was starting to spike big time here. And if you were in my Discord, you heard me talking about this being the case well before it was the case. And I also indicated that absolutely at 2 o'clock, there was going to be a big move. And of course, exactly at 2 o'clock, even before anybody could read the report, this madness starts taking place. So I sold one of the 2 calls that I bought here for a profit of $62. I was taking advantage of the volatility that was starting to build. I bought another call here just because we were coming back into that, what was now a support level. It dropped a little bit. Then we got this massive craziness, which I held on to, but I also bought a put there as a hedge. Nobody ever knows which way SPY is going to move. And I always tell people who are not, they don't deal with emotion well, or they don't like risk, to not trade around Fed meetings or releases, because this is what happens. So long and short of it is, I hedged my own call positions in case we were to go down or up. Either way, I was minimizing my risk by having a position on both sides. So fortunately for me, we got a nice spike, very quick move that allowed me to take the profits on the remaining call I had from here and the one I had from here, which totaled a $222 gain. I couldn't even close the put fast enough, which ended up working out great because we started to drop. And as we moved towards this support level here, I went ahead and took my profits on that put, which wasn't much. It was $23. I was just lucky to get out. I think I even market ordered that so that it didn't turn around against me and I get caught with my pants down. Long and short of it is I left money on the table, but I was already, getting nervous and everything else. So I just took my profit there at $23, which closed me out on the day at $550. That ended up being my best day ever on this small account. And, it wasn't really my goal to get there, but because of this madness here and me being on the fortunate side of the trade, I was able to walk away with a decent win. All right, so let's move on to Thursday. Now, Thursday, I feel like I did everything wrong. And this is a complete show of my inability to be patient. People ask me all the time if I'm ever going to live trade and, this, that, and the other thing. And what I'm doing here, which is not even live, I'm just recapping what I did. But the mentality in my head of I've got to show something because I have to report back to a community on this account has me taking on trades in larger position sizes to constantly do better or worse. I don't want to do worse, obviously, but I'm forcing myself to do things to create activity to report back on. Live trading, I feel, would do the same thing. If I were to start live trading and it's a slow day and I'm being patient and following my rules and I've got 200 people watching me, it's only a matter of time before somebody starts saying something like, oh, dude, you missed a trade there. You should have taken a trade here. Why don't you do this? What's going on there? Why would you take profits here? And I don't care what anybody says. At some point, that is going to become a catalyst for you to take action. Whether that action is to get into a position or get out of a position is irrelevant. It's going to force you to do something that you probably otherwise wouldn't have if you were trading for yourself and nobody else. I feel that's happening to me on this account. So I really, really need to get back to my roots. What grew this account so fast when I wasn't feeling like I'm feeling now. I expressed all of these feelings even before starting this challenge to my Discord members because I knew that as the account balance grew, the weekly gains on the account percentage-wise would start to diminish. And that's because I'm not using so much of my account to make moves. And so the profits per day in relation to the balance of the account are going to seem smaller. But safer and consistent growth is way better than spikes of growth here and massive losses there. I'm trying to avoid that. I see so many people do it all the time. So anyway, on to Friday. Or is this Thursday? No, this is Thursday. So I was practicing a little bit of patience here. When we put in our opening candle, we got a low. We started to move up. We got a high. Came back down. We didn't break through the low, so I didn't do anything. Came back up here. We rejected the high of day. Now, I still shouldn't have gotten into puts here, even though they ended up working out. But I should have taken them here or here at the rejection of what was a resistance line. I didn't. Instead, I caught the move 3/4 of the way down, bought into it, sold those puts for a $75 profit. Came down close to a support level, bounced off, moved back up a bit. Okay, we rejected. We moved back up a little bit. We're putting in lower highs. We come back down. We form a support level here. We move. We bounce off it again, move up, almost down to it again. And I was anticipating or hoping, not anticipating, because we were in a downtrend at the time, that this resistance we would break and I would catch the calls. But again, lack of my patience and the fact that I didn't let a candle close above it cost me. I bought 5 calls. We dropped down here. This line should have been my cut. I held on to those calls, even though it was still in the same candle, but that was a big, massive red candle, which was obviously not good. I took a $185 loss on that drop. I didn't want to hold them out of risk of losing more. And again, I'm trading on emotion. Heart rate's up. Everything about this has me feeling uncomfortable. But what do? I buy 6 puts, assuming that the drop is going to continue. And of course, it doesn't. It chops sideways. Okay, but fortunately, because these red candles, in relation to where I bought my puts here and where this candle got me down, and trading nervously, I quickly took 4 of them out at a $28 profit and the remaining 2 for a $10 profit. When I'm down on the day, I am not trading for the purpose of being even or making money. Immediately, I go into a protect mode where I want to minimize the loss on the day versus trying to make it green. So that's why I am taking small profits. Okay, I'm chipping away at what I was negative. So anyway, we had a support and we had a resistance here. We break the resistance. I buy a call. Should have sold it somewhere around here, or at the very least, when we got back down to what had then been a support level. But I didn't. I was holding and hoping. We broke through. We hit the next support level down. Should have sold here. Okay, but I didn't. I held it even longer. Now, fortunately, it was more of a sideways trade than anything, so I only lost another $28 there. Nonetheless, a loss. Okay, panic buying is what I was doing. So let's move on to the last play of the day. I bought a call here because we were running up. We started to trade sideways and we started to run up some more. And then again, I was looking to take profits to minimize my losses. And we ended up closing out the day with a $68 loss. It's the only loss on the day for the week. And yeah, but totally an emotion-filled trading day. Now, we get on to Friday. Friday, I'll explain what I did here because this had me feeling so much better, so much less stressed. This play here at the opening drop was a momentum play. We were dropping pretty steadily. I went ahead and bought a single put. We dropped a little bit more. And instead of holding through the emotion from losing yesterday and not wanting to go backwards today, I cut that put for a $4 profit. Not much, but hey, I like starting the day out green, and it is what it is. Now, after that, I decided that I was going to try a new method. It's a EMA crossover method that I did on a 3-minute. So let me go here. Let me turn on the EMA lines. So I was trying the EMA cross. Let me turn on extended hours too, because that changes where those EMA lines are. All right. So right here is where the cross took place. I bought my call at that point, and instead of holding for it to cross back over, I went ahead and held through it. But again, all these big wicks on the bottom had me feeling like the buyers were still winning, even though we had decent sized wicks at the top. I hoped and expected this move to continue. The slower moving EMA was still trending up. The quicker one was still up, but getting wonky. But anyway, I went ahead and took a $78 profit there, closing me out on the day for $82. That was a nice, easy trade. I won't sit here and tell you that I debated on taking profits before then, because I did. But I'm trying really hard to put this crossover trading style to the test, in that I want to find a way to maximize profits on things like this. Okay, now this one worked out great. In fact, if you were to have bought almost any time it crossed over, in this case, it would have worked well. But I've got to give it a go, and again, doing it on this account, it could produce a loss, which I'm trying to avoid because I don't want to have to admit to losing. But if I'm going to do this thing and give it a fair shake rather, then I have to be willing to take a loss. So what I'm going to do Monday is follow this particular strategy to a T, and I will do it with single contract positions so that if I do take a loss on the day, it won't be painful or massively painful. And that's about it. But as far as the week goes, we are up, as you can see here. And from the account's inception, as I noted in the beginning of the video, we are up this amount. And yeah, so it's working out. If you guys are interested in learning to trade like this, I have a Discord link down in the description. If you'd like to support the community and get access to things that the non-patrons don't have access to, you can become a patron. It's only $10 a month. I have a link for that below. And for TradingView, if you like TradingView, it's an amazing charting program. We use it every day. I have an affiliate link that will give us both $30 if you sign up for a paid plan of theirs. You don't have to pay to have it, but you're limited in the number of indicators and things like that you can add. That's also in the link below. Outside of that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, click the little notification bell if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care, and I'll see you on Monday. See ya!